She almost didn't walk inside. The restaurant's glass door shimmered beneath strings of golden fairy lights, and every person stepping through looked like they belonged. Pressed suits, silky dresses, shiny shoes. Harper Blake stared at her reflection in the glass. Oversized thrift store hoodie, faded jeans with a paint smear on the knee, sneakers that had seen much better years. Her hair was tied in a messy bun that looked more like a surrender flag than a style choice. She hugged her canvas tote closer, the frayed strap rough against her fingers. This is stupid, she told herself. Just walk away. Who meets a blind date like this? But she had promised Becky she would go. Her best friend had nearly married her off by force lately. You've turned into a hermit, Harp. You need human interaction that isn't a struggling potted plant. A laughable thought, considering Harper had killed 3 succulents in the past 2 months. Becky had shown her the guy's picture. Dark hair, sharp suit, a face that looked like it came from a luxury watch ad. His name? Cole Westford. Which already sounded like money. Harper had rolled her eyes. No way this dude is real. Becky had just winked. He's real enough. And single. Don't dress too fancy. Be yourself. So Harper had interpreted. Be yourself, far too literally. She took a breath and stepped inside. The restaurant smelled like rosemary and expensive butter. Crystal chandeliers glimmered overhead, their reflections dancing over polished marble. A string quartet was tucked into a corner like someone had dropped a scene from a European romance film in downtown Boston. A hostess gave Harper a quick once-over, confusion flickering so fast it vanished before shame could form, and smiled politely. Reservation. Cole Westford, she whispered. The hostess blinked, then her smile sharpened. Of course. Right this way. Harper followed her through a hallway lined with bottles of wine older than she was. At a table by the window sat the man from the photo. He wasn't scrolling his phone. He wasn't fidgeting. He simply sat with posture straight, sleeves rolled to reveal forearms that honestly should be illegal, and eyes, striking steel blue, watching the raindrops slide down the glass behind him. When he looked toward them, Harper almost ran. He stood. God, he actually stood up. His suit jacket slid perfectly over sculpted shoulders, and he smiled. A polite, practiced, too perfect smile. Until his gaze fell on her outfit. For a heartbeat, she saw it, surprise flickering like static in his eyes. Then something unexpected happened. His smile softened, became real. Harper, he asked, voice warm, low, like velvet draped over a winter night. She nodded, throat dry. He pulled out her chair. She sat, trying not to think about how her sweatshirt probably smelled faintly like acrylic paint and cinnamon soap. You braved the rain, he said, sitting again. That's dedication. Or poor decision making, she muttered, then winced. Sorry. Nervous humor. He chuckled. I appreciate honesty. Most people try too hard on first impressions. Well, she gestured at herself, trying wasn't in my vocabulary today. His gaze held hers. Not judging. Not mocking. Curious. Trying is overrated. The waiter arrived, water glasses clinking softly as they were placed down. Cole didn't even glance at the menu. He probably knew the chef personally. So, Harper, he said once the waiter left, resting his hands loosely on the table, elegant silver watch peeking beneath his cuff, tell me about yourself. She took a breath, ready to spin some polished lie. But his eyes, steady, calm, made something loosen inside her. I paint, she said. Not like the fancy gallery stuff. Murals. Signs. Kids' rooms sometimes. Whatever pays rent. And, he asked, leaning slightly forward, does it make you happy? The question caught her off guard. People usually said, oh, cute hobby or you'll grow out of it or so you're unemployed. It does, she said quietly. Even when it feels impossible. Especially then. He smiled like she'd said something profound. What about you? She asked. His posture stilled, like a leaf in calm water. I run a business. She snorted. That's vague. It is, he admitted. I'm used to people reacting differently when they hear details. In my defense, she raised a hand. I'm covered in yesterday's paint. I already embarrassed myself. You can safely assume I'm not here to impress your ego. He laughed. A real laugh, deep and surprised, like no one had spoken to him like that in years. Fair enough, he said. I run Westford Holdings. Her brows furrowed. Sounds like money and intimidation. Most people find it impressive. I'm not most people. His smile turned thoughtful. I'm starting to see that. Dinner came. Something gourmet with truffle foam and edible flowers. Harper tried to discreetly Google the utensils order under the table and almost dropped her phone. Cole pretended not to notice, but amusement shimmered in his eyes. She expected him to talk about business, stocks, power lunches. Instead, he asked about colors she loved, neighborhoods she dreamed of painting, whether art ever scared her. All the time, she said. Especially when I think it's the best thing I've ever made. What if it's the last good thing I can make? What if everything after is worse? He looked at his glass like he saw himself inside it. I know that fear. You. She chuckled. You look like the type who wakes up, breathes confidence, and has never once tripped on a sidewalk. I trip, he said seriously. Just not where people can see. Something in her chest tightened. Vulnerability wasn't pretty, it was dangerous. Addicting. Outside, the rain intensified, beating softly against the windows. The quartet shifted to a slow melody, violins brushing the air like whispers. Can I ask you something? She said. Anything. Why didn't you react? She tugged her hoodie sleeve. To how I look. Most men would have left. He studied her face as if mapping constellations. I've watched too many people dress perfectly and mean nothing, he said. And I've watched one person, my mother, wear shoes until they broke just so I could have new ones. His jaw tightened, softened. Clothes say almost nothing. Presence says everything. Warmth bloomed behind her ribs. She swallowed. He wasn't charming her. He believed what he said. So, she whispered, what does my presence say? That you walked in scared, he said gently, but still walked in. And that takes courage most people don't even try to find. Her heart stumbled. For the rest of dinner, time folded. They talked like they'd known each other in another life, like this wasn't some strange blind date but some long-paused reunion. Eventually, the waiter brought the bill. Harper's stomach lurched. This meal probably cost more than her monthly groceries and utilities combined. She reached for her tote. I should at least. No. His voice was soft but firm. You sharing your evening is enough. That line probably works a lot. I've never used it before. She believed him. He walked her to the entrance. The storm had moved on, leaving the pavement glittering like spilled stars. Cold air bit her cheeks. Thank you, she said. For not making me feel out of place. You were the only real person in that room, he said. Place had no idea how lucky it was. She blinked rapidly. You're going to make me cry in a parking lot. Then I'll walk you to your ride before you blame me for mascara streaks. No mascara. She grinned. Budget queen. He smiled like she'd just told him his favorite secret. They reached the curb. No Uber waited. No sleek car. Just a rusty bike locked to a post. Harper braced for judgment. Cole's face lit with delight. You bike. It's reliable. Ish. He stepped closer, voice quieter. Can I see you again? Her heart fluttered. Even if I show up looking like this again. Especially if you do. She bit her lip. Okay. But next time, I buy coffee. Real contribution. Might not be truffle foam tier, but coffee shared with the right person outranks truffles, he said. She mounted her bike, rainwater flicking from the tires. Good night, Cole Westford. Good night, Harper Blake. He watched as she pedaled away, hoodie flapping, laughter trailing behind her like a ribbon in wind. He didn't realize he was smiling until the valet coughed politely nearby. He didn't care. Harper turned the corner, breath clouding in the crisp air. She didn't usually believe in fate. But tonight felt like something rare, something warm blooming after a long winter. Back at the restaurant, Cole still stood where she'd left him. The valet approached. Your car, sir. Cole shook his head, eyes still on the street she'd disappeared on. Not yet. Because for the first time in a long time, the richest man in the room had walked out feeling like someone else had given him everything, without even trying.